Yeah, hello and welcome to the stream. Anybody around yet? I see that I'm on the front page. Oh, I'm advertised in that I'm doing stuff on the candidates. I don't know. This is just my Monday live show actually. I can do something on the candidates though. I mean, it's definitely possible. Anybody see what I'm wearing? Ha! Okay, I hope you're all right. Shall I do something on the candidates? It's one option. I can also play some stuff, play some tournament. I can do some viewer games. I'm very much open for discussion. We had some really cool games. I mean, today, how did it end actually? Mamedyarov Caruana was probably a draw, right? Or did that have a winner? I did not even check, to be honest. Yeah, it's nice one. Leeches. Okay, so what am I going to do? How did that game Caruana Mamedyarov end? I guess in a draw, but I'm not really certain. I did not see the end of it. How did that end? Can anybody tell me? It ended in a draw. Okay. Yeah, it looked like it should end in a draw. Absolutely. Okay. So what is the general opinion? Shall I look at the Kramnik game from today? That was probably the most interesting game, but I'm also happy with playing a little bit of light-hearted games. If anybody is interested, I've had a pretty busy day because I had the new E4 repertoire released on Chessable today, which was tons of work really, and I'm happy it is out. So I should look at the Kramnik game. We do have a candidates study here, right? Candidates round 3. Yeah, that was the game. No, that's not the game. So this is the Aronian Kramnik game. Does that really look okay? I think it looks okay, right? You see what you need to see. This is my view for tournament play usually, but I think it's okay. Yeah, you see the board, you see the moves on the right hand side. I have the engine is on, which we can use or not. I can flip the board. Yeah, I can definitely do that. Let's do it. We've got it covered from the black side. Yeah, thanks for the feedback. There are already some people in who bought the E4 repertoire. Okay, I'm going to start to look at this game in a moment. I just have gotten a message that I quickly need to look at. It will only take like 30 seconds. So I'm sorry, but We have Aronian. Sorry, yeah. I've unmuted. So we have Aronian playing white, and the very first surprise is this one, e4. Yeah, this is not what Aronian usually plays, and it's something that I actually mentioned earlier, that we had earlier. Aronian is usually not going to play e4. He usually goes d4 or c4. Those are his main opening moves. And e4 is a bit of a surprise. He only does that very, very rarely. Okay, not much of a surprise is that Kramnik stops. That Kramnik is playing his main repertoire choice, the Berlin defense. He sticks to his guns, and Aronian goes d3. So he plays d3 anti-Berlin. Yeah, the ultimate anti-Berlin is, by the way, 1d4 or c4 probably. But okay, let's see what happens. d3. In the very beginning, it was basically clear that white should search for an advantage with castles, and then they get to the ending here, you know, the famous Berlin ending. That in fact yesterday Kramnik played with the white pieces against. Oh, thanks for the subscription. That Kramnik played with the white pieces against Kayakin, trying to press water out of stone for quite a while. The ending is still regularly played, but I think black is reasonably happy about his chances there. The move d3 is probably the one that keeps the most pieces on the board. It is not a very energetic choice, though. It's not the kind of move that you will wipe out black with. In general, we see lots of those slowish variations nowadays. d3 in the Italian, d3 in the Rui, and so on. It just shows that with the forcing variations you have trouble getting much. Yeah, here black needs to worry a little bit about the e5 pawn. Therefore he plays d6 to cover the pawn, or more actively bishop c5. Bishop c5 is the main move that tries to develop outside of the pawn chain and be active on that diagonal. This is yeah, you don't see Kramnik at the bottom there. Yeah, I know. This is because I'm currently using my setup that I usually use. I can adjust it slightly. I usually use that for tournaments and not for these kind of analysis views, but I think it's better now. Yeah, I could adjust it. So the bishop is on a strong diagonal there. And this is something that we will see in the game, that this bishop is a dangerous piece. Here, white has a couple of choices. He can also play moves like c3 or castles. Castles is, however, I think usually deemed as rather lame, as black has got knight d4 available. That would trade a minor piece, and I think makes it relatively easy. c3 is also, again, a main line. Aronian decides to take and gets to this rather static pawn structure. First thing to note is that this is not hanging. Yeah, here black can play queen to d4. That actually, it's the best move, right? Yeah, queen to d4. Yeah, that doesn't win a piece straight away, because bishop e3, queen takes, d4 would get the piece back, but here black is of course winning. Long line, but I think it's fairly convincing. Now, what does white do? Aronian actually castles, yeah, which is of course a completely normal looking move. However, what I felt when I looked at this a little bit, not this game in particular, but those structures, I felt it is interesting for white not to commit so early on to castling short. So if you want me to give out a recommendation, and I'm not talking about a recommendation that will refute the Berlin or something, maybe an expert or a real expert is maybe the wrong word, but a real, yeah, super strong player who knows the Berlin in and out maybe would say, that isn't so dangerous. But my view of this is, I've seen some games where white has been more flexible with the king position, and sometimes long castling gets played and then white tries to advance like that. There has been a very well-known game between Vailly and was black, I think was Navarra, and I think that was the pairing where Vailly got a very strong attack here on the king side. I think an interesting choice. Aronian, however, castles, and Kramnik plays queen to e7, covering this pawn. And now we come to an interesting point, and this interesting point is really happening now, because Aronian now plays the move h3 relatively quickly. And I know it sounds a bit wacky, but this is probably not good. And it's probably not good because of what happens now. And this is really the next move, I can absolutely assure you, would have never, ever been played 20 years ago, 10 years ago. Or if you go even further back, it's completely out of the picture that this could have happened. Because Kramnik now plays the shocking move rook to g8. And if you see that for the very first time, you would think that, what happened here? Yeah, too much brandy or something, or I don't know what is typical of Berlin. Yeah, do they have some strong alcoholic beverage? I don't know. Yeah, what exactly did he consume to play rook g8? Yeah, rook g8 is not a novelty by Giri, but it's just what Stockfish gives as the best move. Yeah, it's just if you run this through the engine and you give it time, it says rook g8, best move. Black is slightly better. I know that is some very shocking, but I tested it. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to check really if that is true. But you get into Stockfish, it shows the move relatively quickly as possible, which is in itself pretty shocking in a way. And then if you give it some time, and I let it run like half an hour, yeah, while I was fixing my dinner, it gives rook g8 really as the clearly strongest move with an advantage for black, which is, I feel, extremely shocking. So I know it sounds harsh, but that was really bad preparation by Aronian. So what is the idea? g5. Yeah, black wants to go g5. And the shocking thing about this is that actually black is playing this without playing h6. This is the most shocking to me. Something like h6 and intending g5. This is something that you sometimes see in lines. I've played this way myself in the Italian game many times, which is really a different kind of position because there's the bishop on c4 and so on. But in general, the idea to pawn storm with the g pawn against h3 is not entirely, that's not unknown. Yeah, but what I feel is really shocking that you can actually save the move h6. The point is, what is white's move now? If he plays, for example, something that he often does, like knight b to d2, then you can do this in one go. Yeah, you can even save the move h6 because now there's not enough on that pawn. By the way, Bad Bishops, thanks a lot for the donation. Yeah, I'm happy to do some candidates coverage. So this is really great, yeah, rook g8. But I'm totally sure that this is not a move that you would come up as a human player. You have to see it beforehand. And in the chat they say that Kramnik said he forgot his prep after knight h5. His memory was unclear. Knight h5 is the next move. That is very much possible that he at some point had analyzed this. but he certainly did not expect this to happen today, as Aronian doesn't play e4 at all. And it's probably not something that you would expect in general, because that specific move order with h3 early is not super frequent. Not super frequently seen. But honestly, I know it sounds harsh, but if you play this with white, you have to know this. I mean, if Stockfish gives that as the #1 choice, not knowing this on move 7 is really not good. I mean, yeah, okay, but what goes on now? What I found very surprising when I saw this, the time spent. Have a look at this. Aronian 138, yeah? So he's spent like 2 minutes or something up to this point, which I understand. Then now Rook G8 comes, and the next move, he goes King H1. Okay, here it says 13 minutes. Okay, then there's a different timestamp than the one I saw on Chess24, because I looked at this a little bit on Chess24, and it displayed that he would have played this in 2 minutes, which I would found shocking. If somebody would play Rook G8 against me, I would yeah, definitely think for a moment, yeah, and like, oh my god, what the heck is going on? Because you know that this is Kramnik doesn't play Rook G8 just on a whim. Yeah, he he would have prepared this stuff, and you have to take a while to figure out a reply. So King H1. Yeah, hello to Fuchsia and to Planet Chess Club, and thanks for the cheer. So King H1, he took a while. Okay, King H1 is the kind of move that, yeah, can that be the best? I don't know. I did not check this game with an engine, really. I just looked at it and I was stunned what happened. Okay, King to H1, and okay, one point is certainly that the king is getting out of this bishop's diagonal. One thing you also have to see, if white tries to trade this, yeah, again, G5 can be played in one move, and the next move the G file is open. Don't underestimate how quick this attack can develop. You go G4, yeah, the H pawn, G pawn gets traded, bishop comes out, and next move you have castled long. I mean, this is really a quick attack brewing, and I think what Svidler said, yeah, in the broadcast, which I watched briefly. Yeah, it doesn't feel good if you have this idea of getting checkmated after move 7 on the white side of the antabalin. I think really this is what you feel like after Rook G8. Like, oh my god, I could get checkmated today. Okay, so King H1 was played. Not sure that this is the most critical move, but it's tough to say really. So Knight H5, and this is now opening this up, so that G5 can be played in one move. Yeah, just in one move you can go G5, G4, and this is all due to H3. Yeah, it's really something that is underestimated, that early H3 move when you have castled and the other side has not. It is just completely astonishing that this is working so quickly here in this game. So, hello to Kramnik student. Yeah, you must have been delighted today, right? Okay, so the knight goes to H5, and this prepares G5. And now C3. This is really looking slow, but it looks like something that makes sense. Yeah, strike back in the center. It's really tough to say what's better here. I mean, you cannot go bishop E3. Yeah, that is blundering directly. So what move do we actually play? Sometimes you just have to go with exclusion method. So what works and what doesn't. One thing I just wondered is that actually a threat? I mean, there's knight takes e5. So let's just assume, let's just try out, yeah, if we develop with knight c3. Not sure that this helps much. Yeah, the knight is not good on that square anyway. Yeah, no b5, no d5. Yeah? The only idea of it would be to go to e2 in order to defend. Yeah? Just a matter of getting defensive pieces. Is g5 actually possible? Or is knight takes e5 an issue there? I don't know. That could work. Could work. Oh, thanks for the donation. Thank you, Soren. If I take actually, queen takes, do I have something? I don't think so. I cannot go g4 right away, and this is probably going to be answered with f4. That doesn't work. But this is probably the clue. Yeah, here. This is going to be very, very dangerous now. Which is probably a euphemism, yeah? I'm attacking this with black, and what do you do? Okay, we're getting somewhere. If white takes here, we are checking and over. Mate. This bishop is very, very dangerous. And the same thing happens here. And next move mate. Wow. So this is a bit of a disaster. Yeah? This is hanging. I mean, this is the bad thing. I mean, you're not just going to be attacked. This knight is also just hanging. I hope I'm right on that assumption, but I think I'm right, yeah, that this is the key. I'm going to once in a while check with the engine. So g5, knight e5, g4. Oops, g4, yes. Yeah, the engine actually says d4 is still a position, but depth 21, I wouldn't trust so much. It's the only playable move though, d4. And now, yeah, this is something where ultimately the engine would definitely display the absolute truth. Yeah, it's for sure. The question is, how long does it take to make that calculation? Bishop d6 looks good, yeah. Yeah, that is definitely a good position. The line that is given here by the engine, for example, yeah, this is a disaster. I mean, it gives equal, but you know, this is just terrible looking for white. It looks terrible. You got this castle here, and then you put the bishop on that diagonal. I think this is also what the engine wants to do. That looks pretty awful. Maybe you have enough counterplay on the dark squares, but it looks very difficult to play. The whole position is, of course, absolutely a nightmare in a practical game. It feels like you stumbled right into the pitfall, yeah, with this thing. Amazing. Amazing. Aronian played c3 after a long think, yeah. And g5. The same thing happens. Yeah, Kramnik prepared well. That is probably true. I mean, but one thing is clear. This can be the kind of thing, this rook g8, that he is sitting there for ages and hopes that it one day gets on the board. And it must have feel like Christmas and the birthday and everything combined, yeah, at one time, yeah, when you get this on the board, yeah. I mean, even if it is, yeah, there's some weird line that equalizes for white. Again, that is a nightmare to have on the board. Yeah, I did not view the, yeah, Kramnik said he's had this novelty prepared for a long time. I can easily imagine, because it is showed by the engine, yeah. It is showed by the engine, and sometimes those things I think are sitting there on the shelf, and then you just hope that you get it at one time, yeah. And this happened in the most important game, maybe, yeah, that you can get it on the board, yeah. Fantastic for Kramnik. Yeah, he has a great chance now, yeah. Even after only 3 rounds, we can say that this is shaping up nicely. He's got 2 wins already in the back, and he is extremely experienced. Yeah, he has beaten Kasparov in a match He's the kind of person, if he gets to +3 or +4, he can simply bunker this down till the end, yeah, and win the whole thing. Yeah, he's not going to be nervous or something. Yeah, that's not happening. I mean, that guy beat Kasparov without losing a game. So, G5, knight takes E5, and then G4. Yeah, and now you're sitting there. We have the same lines as before. Yeah, white cannot take because this is over. Note the bishop. Yeah, very nice. And here you're going to win as well. So Aronian went D4 instead, which makes sense. Block this diagonal. Bishop D6. Again, you cannot take on G4. No? This is fairly clear. Yeah? Something like this is also made. So G3, yeah, it makes sense. It's tough for me now to work out when this is really objectively terrible. Like, I mean, this looks bad. It looks bad, but how bad is it? Yeah, this is tough to say for me, just like by looking at it. What does the engine say? I really need some help there because it's such an unconventional position. It gives black some advantage. That is not a surprise, but the point is, how much is it? Yeah, Queen D4. Yeah, that looks quite logical. Yeah, push the queen back. On the other hand, you're sitting right into C5. Yeah, you're walking right into C5. Okay, H4. That you probably have to do. And C5 and thanks for subscribing. Ecstatic Broccoli. That's a really cool username. You like broccoli? It's supposed to be very very healthy. I'm not eating it often enough, I think. So C5 attacks the queen. Queen C4. Yeah, and he's giving a ton of checks, and now F5. I know, I mean, that I can say, I know that after F5, black is supposed to be winning, according to Stockfish. That's something that I spotted on the Chess24 website. When I first opened up the game today, they had the position on the board exactly this position, and it was, the engine was giving +3 to Kramnik. So, Queen C4, Queen A4, those were bad, yeah. So here, Aronian still could have gotten a playable, somewhat playable position, you say. So what else should you have done instead of Queen to A4? I mean, the whole thing is really super annoying. Yeah, you don't have those pieces out. Yeah, Queen D3 is better, you say. Wow. Yeah, Rook D8. Huh? Probably you need to be able to answer F5 with taking, and after check, you will trade the queens at least. I mean, that position is still not good for white, but yeah. That looks like a playable position. It's not lost immediately. But here there are other options. Yeah, you can even go here. Let's say Rook D3. The light squares are absolutely terrible in white's camp. He's got this fairly useless bishop, and he's not really shoring up the light squares. Yeah, Queen D3. Yeah, but I can go, that prevents F5, maybe. I mean, I'm not sure it really prevents it, technically. I could still do it and probably have some kind of compensation. But this here, why not Rook D8? Something bad about that? Yeah, the engine gives rook d8. Yeah, and bishop c4. As I had this on the board, yeah, and thought it's crazy. Yeah, 6 Sniper says Kramnik played the strongest move every time after that position. I guess. And the thing is, this is not exactly rocket science, yeah. It is just like you spot the active move and you see that, I mean, if you calculate this is not so difficult because he's sitting there with all those non-pieces. That makes it fairly easy to calculate in a way because there are not many possibilities. I'm not saying that was an easy job or something. I'm just saying finding the best move here, the absolutely best move, is not so difficult because it's not a maze of variations where tons of things are possible. For example, after f5, bishop g5, you don't need to calculate. You just smash it and play f4. It must be right. You're attacking now with absolutely anything here. And what is white doing there? I mean, this you can easily evaluate as a win. Queen to d1, yeah. Rook d8. Queen c1, yeah. What a disaster. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm just thinking about this game and wonder if Aronian can come back from that. This is such a disastrous loss. I mean, this is the kind of game where when you lose like this, the main thing that you need there is on the next round some sort of fluke win. Yeah, you need to get back into it immediately and forget about the game. Yeah. What is who's Aronian? Who is he playing tomorrow? Can you tell me? I mean, I would. The only chance would be Wesley So or something. Yeah, play against So is in completely rotten form. And no, I think Aronian knew that he was lost before. And there's a rest day. There's a rest day. Okay. Yeah, but he needs something simple. Yeah. I mean, not simple. And that's wrong. But somebody who's also in bad shape. This is what I just want to say. Yeah, I think it was clear to him after f5 that he's toast. Probably before. It looks pretty rotten. Yeah, you have nothing developed. Your light squares are wow. Yeah. Okay, so this f4, queen d1, rook d8, queen c1, and yeah, now black simply took on g3. Yeah? Why not? White cannot recapture. And what exactly is your move? He played knight a3. Yeah. Very strong, using this potentially on the third rank. Pooh. Yeah, and now bishop d5 is such a smasher, yeah. Yeah, that's a move that you really like to play. Yeah? You play bishop d5, yeah, you get up, you grab a coffee, yeah, and Kramnik, I don't know, I think he's still enjoying the odd cigarette nowadays, yeah. That's really the kind of move that makes you feel really well. So f3 was played. Now let's have a look what exactly happens if white takes the material. So if the rook gets taken, how does black actually win? What do you think? What's the win here? Do you know what the win is? Any suggestion? Let's make this a little bit interactive. Just queen takes. Okay. And here and now, do we have... What's the win here? Yeah? Probably we can do it in the pedestrian way, yeah, by taking the rook. I wondered, I mean, just saying, is that also winning? I mean, this is a very cute mate, you know. I just saw this and I felt, yeah. Is that possible? It looks strong, but it could have some kind of drawback. No, this is just cute. And I don't really see a way for white to defend here. How should that look like? Yeah, we're threatening f2 with all might. Yeah, it's a win, right? Don't tell me it doesn't work. Yeah, it's mate in 4, so pawn takes is not bad. Yeah, mate in 5. Okay. So this is the refutation of rook takes. Queen takes is leading to a mate. And if the bishop gets taken, how do we win then? I want to switch it off, yeah. It should be at least some kind of challenge. So how are we going to win here? Probably there's some simple way, but maybe we have a beautiful way. Yeah. I mean, I see a mate in X, yeah. Something simple, but is there something better available? Ah, okay, if you see one mate, it's enough. So I think this would probably be enough. Yeah, this is a mate, yeah. Is there a quicker mate than this? I'm not sure. I'm not seeing it, at least. Like here. Yeah, this will be a mate, yeah. Something like that. It's just check, check, check and mate. Maybe there is something quicker. You have to check though. And maybe there's something even quicker. G3 maybe, then King G1. I don't think that is on. But Queen F3 is checkmate. Yeah, that's going to be a win. Is the engine seeing anything better? Queen E4, King G1, takes. Rook G3. Okay. Ah, okay. That's a nice one. Yeah, it's actually quite nice. Yeah, with this point. But the check, check, check is also winning. So back to bishop d5. And so this is now simply threatening, threatening here. By the way, I've got a question. If you use the Lichess studies, yeah, if I want to unpaint this arrow, is there a simple way to do it? I tend to click on some square that has no piece that can go to it. That would unarrow, yeah? Like I'd make the arrow and I click let's say on a A4 square, but it's kind of weird. Is there some other way to simply delete if I write all kind of stuff and then escape? No, that doesn't work. Yeah, I can redraw the arrow. That is kind of lame. I mean, I think it's about, now I've lost all the variations. My issue is that when I let's say I paint all kinds of stuff. Now if I left click, yeah, you know, I can paint and I know what I can click, let's say on A8, you know, on an unrelated square, left click, then I undraw all arrows. Yeah, but I need to left click on something that cannot be painted and something that cannot be moved. So if I paint all kinds of stuff, let's say, and it's white and I click on F3 here, then it makes the move. Yeah, but you need to find the empty square. This is sometimes a little bit of an issue. Like if I record a video and I paint all over the place, and then I'm in the middle of telling people things, yeah, when I produced videos, I really have to check, like, let's see this. Where is the empty square? Yeah, I mean, I will find it, but okay, there doesn't seem to be anything simpler. Like, it would be actually not bad if you, let's say, press X or so, and then everything is gone. Anyway, bishop d5, white played f3. And now Kramnik just took with the pawn. Yeah, this is the stuff of dreams. Yeah, you have those two pawns here. It's great, yeah. And note that after rook takes, queen takes, we transpose into the line that we had seen before with the beautiful mate, yeah. Very cute. So here, this was played by Aronian. We're already in the beyond repair zone, of course, by far. And now queen to e2. Very nicely. Yeah, threatening mate on those squares. Rook e1 is the only one. This is already mate in X, right? Yeah, mate in 7. Rook e1, g2 check. Yeah. King h2, g1. Yeah, so somebody said that the game was already finished here. Yeah, Levon resigned here after g1 queen. That is definitely making sense. Yeah, that he did not play it out till the mate was actually on the board. Yeah. Yeah, that looked terrible. Yeah, Aronian was really completely annihilated here with the white pieces. What an unlucky game in some way. Yeah? You play like this, yeah, with h3, and I don't know. Then rook g8 hits you. Phew. Wow. I mean, in some way, this is just bad preparation by Aronian. Yeah? This is what the engine gives, and Kramnik student said that it has been played in correspondence chess, which is not making it any better, really. Very difficult for Aronian. I mean, it is not yet over. It's really not the case, but he has to win a game quite quickly, also simply to get back on track somehow. This is the kind of defeat that makes you really feel miserable. Yeah, you try to surprise the opponent with white, yeah, by going e4. I mean, the thing is, yeah, it is a surprise for the game, but this is Kramnik's, let's say, as we say in German, bread and butter opening. Yeah, it's the kind of thing that you play if you get yeah, somebody wakes you up in the night, yeah, and okay, play a game. If you wake me up at 3 in the morning, I play my old Rulo Pes line that I've played a million times. It's just like what is in my DNA, and what Kramnik has the Berlin in his DNA. Yeah, it's just that he tried to play exactly on Kramnik's playing field. Yeah. Yeah, this is a disaster, really, that happened here. So Aronian definitely has to get back on track. He's got the rest day, and who is he playing in round 4? I would really like to know that. Anybody willing to check? I mean, I don't want to switch the here the view too much and go into other sites. Who is he facing in round 4? Kayaking with black. It's not yeah, it doesn't sound too great. Kayaking with black is yeah, it's a bit like banging your head against the wall. But Kayakin also has to win a game. Yeah, I mean, it sometimes doesn't look like he ever wants to, but yeah, he has to try, and maybe this is not a bad pairing for Aronian. Definitely Kramnik will try something else, and let's see. If Kramnik wins this tournament, I think this is going to be an interesting match. Definitely. I mean, that is not going to be easy going. Carlsen is the favorite anyway, no matter who he's playing. It really doesn't matter. It's his match. It's the matches for him to lose, not for the other guy to win. If Carlsen is playing in top shape, he will win anyway. But if that is not the case, Kramnik is certainly somebody who's got all the things necessary to win. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we looked at this game. The other games today, I don't think they were super exciting. You know, the So Ding game was like, it was theory all the way and then some boring ending. This kind of games is the reason why I never played the martial attack with black. I always feel if you play against a competent opponent, you're just playing for 2 results, and the win is not one of them. Yeah. This is something that black can hold but will never win. No, absolutely. I think Kramnik is an attractive opponent. I mean, absolutely. That is, he's far more interesting to watch this match than some other opponents. Absolutely. It's still the case that it's Carlsen needs to lose the match. It's not so much that the other guy is just stronger. Yeah, there have been cases of World Championship matches where you just know. I mean, where somebody is the favorite. Yeah, and in this case, Carlsen is still the favorite to win, but Kramnik is certainly able to use a weakness. Yeah, absolutely. And then it will be very interesting. I mean, Kramnik, for example, if he's leading in the match, I'm not sure he's going to then give that back. Yeah, because if he doesn't want to lose, he's very tough to beat. Okay, so I think this is kind of a non-game, to be honest. This is theory for a very long time, up to this ending, and even deeper, I think, where black will draw with the bishops versus the bad pawn structure. It's I think what So did here is just playing for 2 results. Yeah, he had these 2 awful losses, and he wanted to go for something safe, probably. I'm not sure if Ding is playing the marshal and this was part of preparation. Yeah, the Lichess hoodie, very nice. Yeah. Yeah, Lichess was kind enough to send me that for free. Yeah, it's a very nice one. I really like it. They sent it to me for free already like a month ago, a long time ago. But this thing actually never fit me. And now that I've lost a bit of weight, I can actually wear it. It's nice. So I don't think this is super interesting. Yeah? It's a bunch of prep, and then we go into an ending. So Caruana Mamedyarov was actually quite exciting. I haven't seen the game. 49. Yeah, shall we look at this or do something more lighthearted? Yeah, what do you think? I want to stream for roughly from here on like an hour, a little bit more, because I definitely need some sleep. But yeah, do we want to look at this a little bit, or shall we do some viewer games? Okay, I can look through it. It's I'm happy to do so. Let's have a look then. We have first of all, let me kind of think about this pairing a little bit. Caruana is mostly an e4 player, so this was expected. He plays everything, yeah, but he's mostly playing 1e4. So Mamedyarov playing the Najdorf is not something you would naturally expect. I mean, it's part of his repertoire as far as I know, but he's playing more of e5s lately. I really liked his round 1 opening, you know. This is something that I have on the radar for a long time. He played in round 1, he played this g6 line against Karjakin and won. I actually have this in my repertoire, which is a little bit different, but quite interesting to check. So I like those somewhat obscure is a bit strong, but let's say sidelines, yeah, of e4, e5. They're oftentimes quite interesting to play. Okay, this time Mamedyarov went for the Najdorf. f3 is played. Yeah, f3 is still relatively young move in this position. It basically became prominent once they worked out that after bishop e3, signaling White's intention to probably play queen d2, f3 and long for the English attack, once they realized that knight g4 is actually quite a decent move. Not that it is better for black or so, but it's something that I think black is quite happy with as far as I know. And therefore, white players began to start with f3 and only then play bishop e3. There are some differences here, of course. You are committing to f3 very early on. If you play bishop e3, you have some odd lines where you omit the move. Yeah. Okay, here e5 was played. This is, for example, an instance where having f3 on the board already is quite interesting for black. Yeah, if you, for example, there is this, and I have to say I'm not an expert, yeah, but I just want to show you. There are additional things like this, or after this, white does not have to play with f3 necessarily. He can, for example, still switch back to bishop e2 and castle, or he can sometimes play f4 in some situations. So there are some points there. Okay, f3, e5, bishop e6, bishop e7, queen d2, knight bd7. There are definitely move order wrinkles, but I have to admit that I cannot help you there. Yeah, I would have to look into a database and check things, because this Open Sicilian is not my usual area where I analyze. Yeah, in the Najdorf for white, if people ask me, I usually recommend h3. But I don't know the other lines that well. So g4. Yeah, Fuchsia, 6 hours of work isn't that much. The problem is, and that is what sometimes is underestimated, it's not just the 6 hours at the board. They are exhausting, but they have to prepare. This is, by the way, a huge difference to chess 40, 50 years ago. Though they didn't prepare. I mean, they just sit at the board and play. Yeah, I mean, there are funny stories. Yeah, when I read about the Spassky-Fischer match. Yeah, when Spassky was preparing for the match, and I mean, they knew that was something where, I mean, that was something that mattered to the whole USSR. Yeah, and people wanted Spassky to beat that bloody American. And they had people from the KGB, yeah, from the Secret Service, whatever, yeah, come to Spassky's training camp, yeah, and they found all those grandmasters there drinking vodka and smoking, yeah. And I can tell you, this is not happening nowadays. It just doesn't happen, yeah, because they have to work their asses off, and it's just impossible to do this kind of thing, yeah. Anyway, castles. g5, knight h5. Yeah, this is really true. That is not just some random story. Yeah, there have been books about the match, and they have been they sent people from the KGB check on the training camps, and it must have been a complete mess. Yeah, there's like bottles all over the place and so on. It sounded crazy. And nowadays they work their asses off. They really do. So okay, b5. Here and knight d5. I know that this structure is quite common actually in those lines. And one thing to note is that the black camp suffers from light squared weaknesses. c6, for example. And as we will see, f6 is played now by Mamedyarov. That actually weakens more. So the light squares are weakened, and the weaknesses are mostly on the center and on the queen side. And what I know is that mostly white is not playing on the king side here, as this g4, g5 would suggest, but rather try to play on the light squares. I think we will see something about that. I mean, this bishop will maybe go here, and black will go knight f4. Yeah, sorry, that's a good question. Yeah, queen takes d5. I think blunders g5 is the problem. Queen d5 is, from a strategic point of view, an interesting move, but you give away g5, and it's always check, so you have problems. Yeah, definitely. Fischer worked extremely seriously, yeah, compared to the Russian camp, I guess. So this wouldn't work. These are all subtleties. Yeah, if white, I'm not sure how this would be possible, but if white would have had the rook here already or h4 on, then you would be able to take on d5. So here black goes knight f4. This is important to note. Black always has this f4 square for the knight, as white cannot really take on f4. If you take there, you make this bishop extremely strong. I mean, here you can take the pawn, but black will grab here, I think. And in general, you don't take that. Kramnik said he only had one training camp during the last 4 years. I mean, he can do many things without a training camp. And one thing is with Kramnik, he does not play that much anymore. He plays less. He focuses more on some important events. And I mean, you have to see, he's gotten the wild card for this tournament. He did not qualify. So it's not like he's the most active player anymore compared to what he used to do. But I think the moment you get this wild card, yeah, you certainly, yeah, you get the vibe again. Yeah, something is going on there. It's serious. Anyway, rook g1, king h8 makes sense. Yeah, get out of any light square checks. And white is centralizing. Interesting choice now, bishop g5 to h6. This is surprising. That's a surprising move, actually. The reason why I'm surprised is you don't have to play it in some way, because, I mean, white can never take, strategically speaking, yeah? He cannot, cannot take. Yeah, sure, there's a reason, the reason could be money, but the reason for people like Kramnik is, I mean, if he is not, he's not the kind of person, I would assume, who will spend all the money that he earned on some nonsense. He would have done some good investments, I think. And he doesn't really need the money, but getting a match, yeah, to be in the limelight again against one of the best players of all time, yeah, that's really, really a great motivation. And if he would somehow beat Carlsen, yeah, just speculation, that would be one of the strongest chess efforts of all time, really, absolutely. So why not? Anyway, bishop g5. I'm surprised because white never threatened to take there, but maybe I see what the next moves are. Yeah? Black is going to h6 and goes queen h4. That does make some sense. Note that white is indeed playing on the queen side. It's got the knight to c6 and black queen to h4. Wow, that's super complicated, this position. Queen b4. I had simply attacks d6. Okay, I need to really understand this a little bit. I only know that at the end, yeah, they had an ending where Mamedyarov was the exchange down, but had some pawns. But I have no clue how the game went. Thanks for following. Okay, and let's have a look at this. Queen b4. It makes sense, yeah? I take this. The knight is pinned, so it cannot take. And rook f6 was the reaction, simply covering that pawn. And now a4. Okay, the first point of a4 is that, I guess, at least, you cannot take it, as this would drop material, yeah? That's a simple double attack. And Mamedyarov took on h2. Wow. You know what I like is that they actually play this kind of game here. Huh? I mean, they are both sitting very comfortably on a +1 score and still they go out for a real fight. This is something that I like with both players. They are not very much... Of course, they watch the tournament standings and they are kind of tactical about things, yeah, in a way, yeah, like, is it draw, okay, and so on. Everybody does look at it in this way. But they still want to just play the best possible moves and try to play enterprisingly. So this is a real fight here. That's not some scared chess. Not at all. Okay, queen takes. Bishop e4. Yeah, okay. d5 was hanging. Not now because of the pin, but after the queen capture, this was in fact hanging. Okay. So... now he has to look at this first. Even though that is not really a threat, right? I mean, takes, there's queen e4, huh? Just trying to understand here. Bishop e4. I mean, bishop e4 does not make a bad impression anyway. I'm just thinking, is knight takes d5 really a threat? But what else should white play? I mean, just for fun, if you take here, and I can't take on... No, we can just take here, right? This is the blunder, yeah? Of course, sorry. Yeah, pawn takes, this is hanging, and rook takes, this is hanging. No, it's not hanging. Ooh. Well, this is one problem here, at least. Yeah, knight takes, I thought this here, for mate. And I think this doesn't work. I mean, I can cheat for once, yeah, but it doesn't work, yeah. Queen e4 wins. But knight takes d3 is indeed the problem, yeah. As the engine confirms. Yeah, I still like it, yeah, that I cannot use my traditional sex explained. Yeah, chess explained due to the SEX. But it's I think it's fun. Let's keep it like that. And they cannot change it, yeah. They cannot change it. I asked them once, yeah, but once the thing is established, you have to keep the channel name. And it's okay, it's not a big deal. So bishop e4, he just makes sure that the bishop cannot be taken. And it covers everything nicely. Again, black cannot take on a4. Queen e2. You can change it. And maybe you still cannot change it to the to the SEX. Yeah? Anyway, let's have a look there. Crew 64. Don't you have a YouTube channel yourself? Hello, welcome to the chat. You have something yourself, right? I saw you recently. I mean, I didn't watch the stream, but I saw that you are on streaming. So welcome to streaming on Lichess if you're new. Happy to see new strong channels coming to Lichess. Yeah, cool. So okay, queen e2. I need to really. This is not my kind of position, and I have no. Yeah, you don't see it at first. Yeah, that the channel here is a little bit different. Okay, so let's have a look at the game. Queen e2 was played, and what happens here? What a mess. Yeah. Okay, this is hanging, and he simply takes that. there's not much else, you know. There's not much else. So white takes on f4. Okay. And bishop takes. So what happened here? Yeah. So Mamedyarov snatched the h2 pawn, and white in the meantime gets here. The game of chess needs more bald-headed middle-aged men. Middle-aged? What is middle-aged? Don't I look young for my age? I think I do. But probably not something to discuss. Anyway, queen a5. Wanting to go to c7. White has to get some initiative going. I mean, he has good pieces. Yeah, he lost a pawn, but the knight on c6 is strong. The bishop on e4 is strong. And you have some ideas also here. It's I mean, black's extra pawn is the h pawn, and that is not easily pushed. It's not, you have an easy technical winning idea. So knight c5 was played. Queen to c7. Yeah, there's some weird ideas here. Yeah, move the knight. That's true. It's suggested in the chat. Like go here or here and trying to trap something. I don't think you need a particular rating to visit a chess club. Just go there. I mean, people at chess clubs are just chess players. Yeah, they're kind of crazy, maybe a little bit weird. But, well, it's what it is. Just go there. Don't worry. So black played bishop to h6. Why exactly? Mate. So he just stopped the mate. That makes sense. Okay, and now knight to d8. That's funny. But this makes sense. You have this and this idea. So black now took on e4. Was that necessary? Now I want to undraw and now I don't manage. So he took on e4. Okay. Okay, now knight f7 doesn't really help, as black can just take it. And here rook f8 attacking this. Okay, yeah, now knight f7 was winning the exchange, which probably, I actually want to do this. Yeah, okay, well, the engine likes white here, but this is the kind of position where it will probably, yeah, the engine now makes any human player look bad, because it is just so so tactical and complicated. Here rook d to e1 is suggested by the computer. I mean, that makes some sense. It does make some sense. First do this and then check. Yeah, this is a way to cover the check, but then knight e6 looks good. Well, that looks good for white. That looks good for white, but Caruana wanted to win the exchange, which I find very understandable. And here, maybe he didn't really appreciate rook c8 all that much, that intermediate move. Like here, queen b7, that's a strong, or queen b7, no, queen e6. queen e6 to stop that. And then you go rook df1 and then continue to attack. Well, it's tough. It's definitely that's definitely tough. White is supposed to be winning here engine wise, but it's still a tough position. So rook c8. Yeah. You have to cover this, and okay, there's a little trap. So not that one. Queen takes. And I'm a bit surprised that the engine is still liking white so much. Black's got 2 pawns for the exchange. And this position doesn't seem so badly coordinated. I just wonder what the point is. A5 is given by the comp. Trying to maybe fix that pawn and win it later. It doesn't look to me all that clear. I mean, 1.5, what the computer gives is kind of like, okay, white's winning, but it's really tough. It's really tough. I mean, there are bad pawns all over the place. Maybe you win a6 quickly, but I mean, this is what the engine gives. And I mean, the moment you want to take here, you can take c1. So it takes moves like this. Maybe this is an idea. The computer is probably right that white is clearly better. I'm not going to... no, I don't think the engine is weak there. It is stockfish, and the depth is quite reasonable. I think it's quite okay. Yeah, I can believe that white is much better here engine-wise, but it is very difficult to play. So this was played. Okay, threatening mate. So, so he was happy to repeat for the moment. That I understand a lot. And black goes rook g8. Not repeating. Okay. Well, that's a cool decision by black. Wow. This is a really cool decision. He wants to continue to fight here and not just make a draw, which would probably have happened if Caruana was very low on time. The position might have been better for white, okay, but I would fully understand if white would have settled for a draw. So rook g8, that's a pretty hard to make decision. So this, and now he took on a4. Well, you know, I mean, if you are black here, yeah, you argue, let's say, worst possible scenario. Yeah, worst scenario. You lose both pawns. That could happen very much, yeah. Then white's only chance to win is to push here, yeah, push the pawns. And that is not easy to do. He has no other pawns left. This is so important. We're taking the a pawn is so important, because if white would have managed a5 and win a6, then he had chances to push the a pawn all the way through without weakening the king. And here, any sort of win would involve blunders, okay, yeah, but any sort of, like, let's say, forced win or systematic win would involve those pawns to be pushed, and that's not easy to do. So maybe the rationale by black was that this is maybe better for white, but it's very difficult to really realize into a full point, because you would have to weaken yourself a lot to do that. It's not easy at all for white to get ahead. You have no safe spot for the king. And maybe black has chances to push his pawns at some point. Maybe one of the points, yeah. It's interesting. That's a very interesting choice. So queen to e7 was played, queen to g6, and rook f8. Does it make sense to trade a rook? Well, it's tough to say. Sometimes you can really say it pretty clearly, like here you should trade a rook or not. That's tough to say here. So let's see how it happened. So we got this trade, queen d7, and now h5. And this is now the pawn that gets the counterplay. Yeah? Nah, this must be, I mean, the engine is on equal, yeah, which helps with my eval, but it makes sense, yeah. It makes sense that black is okay now. This is not easy to attack, and you push the h-pawn. Nice. That's really nice. Yeah, it's sometimes funny, yeah, the engine gives all zeros, yeah, like every single move is a zero. Yeah, but it's still so easy to find moves that are not zero. Okay, rook g1 played by Caruana, pinning the bishop, and e4 played. So this is of course a calculational nightmare. Yeah? If you're in this, to calculate all that is difficult. Yeah, I can tell you for sure that I would probably lose this with both colors. Yeah, I would make some wacky calculation mistake. So e4 is played, and even e3. And we got to that scenario, yeah, that white has gotten those pawns, and if you look at this, yeah, if the final moves, he's never moving them. He moves c4 at some point, and then they make a draw. I wonder, is that the full game? Did they really make a draw here? It looks like a weird position to make a draw in, you know. Can you confirm that that this is the final position? Okay, cool. I will look at this in a moment, but I just wondered if this is something, there's something missing. Okay, so here, queen f5. Yeah, stepping outside of this pin, which is kind of logical. So, okay, queen d6 was not playable, yeah. Yeah, okay. Pawn is not should not be taken. Queen a8, king to h7, queen to e8. Yeah. It's definitely white here who needs to hold the draw. Those pawns are too dangerous. Yeah, white has to be precise. And I mean, currently, actually, those pawns are purely cover pawns for the king. They can never promote, and black is actually playing with everything that he has. So I think that was a pretty good decision for Mamedyarov to play this on. Yeah, it's just all the trouble is with white. I mean, it's not that black is easy to play, but white has to be, I think, even more cautious here. One screw up can easily lose. Queen to e6. And g6. Wow. Thanks for Silky McNugget says that he bought my e4 repertoire on Chessable today. Yeah, thanks a lot for doing that. I hope you will enjoy it. So g6. Rook f1. King to g7. And now they go for the game position. So takes c4, bishop g3, try to rook here. Wow. And this is exactly a draw, yeah? So easy for the engine, so difficult for us. So h4, and now king c2 is supposedly a draw. So this. Okay, yeah. They are not, you're not making any headway here, yeah? That's true. Like before. I thought king e5. b5, I'm sorry. h3, king f2. You can get to this, yeah, where those pawns do protect one another. And basically, I mean, yeah, this is an important motif. You cannot take f4 as then the pawn here promotes, and if white tries to do this, then all of a sudden you have screwed yourself. Yeah, yeah. Now you, whatever you do, yeah, you allow the other pawn to promote. So here white has to simply stay. Okay, so that was not that difficult to see for those people, yeah, of course. Yeah, and a draw. Nice one. Nice one. Yes, that's cool, yeah. Übung macht den FM. Now I understand your handle. He says he's becoming a big fan of Grischuk. His press conferences are hilarious. Yes, I think Grischuk is really funny, right? He's got this totally deadpan humor. Yeah? He's sitting there like, and then he's just firing. Yeah, really nice. I thought it was crazy that he mentioned after his loss in the first round, the playing conditions are terrible. There's not even water on the toilets. This is fantastic. It is fantastic. I really love it. Okay, just a moment. I need a bit of fresh tea here. That was really cool. So it was really a tough game, but I don't feel like I've really understood it. Yeah, it's just tough, very tough. So we had this lame game, So Ding, Kayakin Grischuk. What was that? Oh, this was this game. Ugh. Yeah, you know, if you see this opening played, yeah, it's either the, I don't know, under-8 championship of Berlin, or it is the candidates in Berlin. I don't want to analyze this game. That is a little bit boring, you know. Maybe one little detail, and this is in fact somewhat important. I once prepared with black here for this position. And it's good to see that Grischuk plays h6, because this is just better than d6. I know it sounds a bit wacky, d6 here, the full symmetry, but I actually believe that white has a slight pull after bishop g5. I know it sounds weird, but I think you have a slight pull there with white. It's maybe a drawish, of course, and so on, but I didn't feel it is so comfortable. I once had to prepare this with black against a GM. Yeah, there was a GM who had this in his repertoire. And I was really wondering, like, what? That's like weird that somebody would play that. But one reason is that this is indeed a little bit of an initiative. I mean, a little bit. And you should just play h6 here. My camera would be proud. Play h6, not to prevent this, but to prevent bishop g5. Yeah. And only go d6 next move. This is exactly what Grischuk did. And now we have this real snoozer of a position, yeah. But it's what it is. It's just what it is. You cannot really do much against white players playing like that. Kayakin tried knight a4, trying to get the bishop pair, but yeah, this is not really all that exciting, of course. There is a question by Aronian, what do I think about Argon? This is an interesting question, and my answer is probably a little bit, I can tell it like it is. I never really put much thought about this. I felt what they did before the organization of the World Championship matches, like the match in New York and other things, that certainly could have done better, of course. But there's one fact here that I need to mention. I'm going to be in Berlin starting on Friday. And I'm going to do commentary on site, the German commentary, German language commentary. So in some way I'm hired by Argon to do that job in Berlin. And therefore I feel I shouldn't really bash them all that much. Yeah, they hired me to do some job for them. I have not seen in person what they do in Berlin. The messages received, like on Reddit and others, yeah, like Grischuk complaining about the toilets, this doesn't sound all that well. We'll see what happens at the actual venue when I'm there. It's just that I was asked before that event, yeah, like a month ago, if I would be interested in doing the commentary at the candidates, and I'm not seeing anybody declining that. It's just a great thing. It's a great experience. I'm going to be on site doing commentary together with Ilya Zaragatsky, who you maybe know, especially the German audience will know him from his days at Chess 24. It's just that I just felt I have to do it. Yeah, I've been at the candidates in London, which was a fantastic experience. And I really think, I've been there as a visitor, yeah, and I really felt this is a fantastic tournament. The candidates is for me the most interesting tournament in the year, in some way more interesting than the match. So I simply had to take that opportunity. I mean, if it's Argon or World Chess or whatever, yeah, I wasn't thinking so much about that. I was thinking about doing a job that I love to do for the tournament that is just so interesting to work at. So I took this job. It doesn't sound like they've done a particularly great job. I mean, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe they also improve some things, and it will get better. Yeah. You know what? Hit the toilets. What kind of thing is that? So we will see. I will give you some update on the toilet situation when I'm at that place. So we've looked a little bit at the games of today's round. Is there anything else that you wanted to look at, like from yesterday or something? If not, I would play just a couple of games against you guys and then call it a day. The other thing that I could show you, if you like, I can tell you a little bit about my new repertoire that is released on Chessable today. That's also something that I could do if you like, but it's your call. This is a live show that is for the viewers. It's not for me. I want to do something that interests you. So sorry. So some games, I got some challenges, so let's play some games. Let's go from top to bottom. Marco Rico is playing. Against the Caro, I have the 2 knights variation. That's my recommendation. Speaking of the Caro. Okay, let's do something funny. This move is better than it looks. I want to take there and play bishop f5 and give me some good place to go to on h7 for the bishop. That move is better than it looks, which is not it's not difficult because it looks weird. It's not bad. Okay, this looks okay. Galodion asked if I would be willing to show my game against Vlastimil Horde from yesterday. I have not yet entered that game actually to show in a database, and I'm not sure that I would want to show it in some way. I really have to get to terms with that game a little bit more. I lost that game yesterday, and it was a game that was very weird in a way, because I lost it due to a type of miscalculation that I never had, never in my whole years of playing chess. I simply sacrificed a piece, and I calculated a variation, and the piece that I wanted to place, I wanted to play bishop g7 takes on d4. This move was simply not possible because the bishop wasn't on g7 but on f8. So I had a complete hallucination. I mean, I was simply not seeing the board correctly. And this is something that I've never experienced, absolutely never. And I don't really know what to make of it. The worst part was that in the position where I blundered the piece, and I was thinking I would sacrifice the piece and he resigns basically because I thought it was over. In that position, basically any reasonable move was completely winning because White's position was already in ruins. Yeah, it was absolutely terrible position for White. So basically anything but what I did would have won the game. It was just like, I mean, I have, of course, miscalculated. Yeah, I've seen things wrong, like, okay, I thought this would be possible, and then I didn't look at one position right, or whatever. But I have absolutely never thought, okay, I'm going to play this move, and then I actually look at the board and think, wait, there is no bishop on g7. It was really hard. Yeah, like, huh? Yeah, it was strange. Yeah, it was a really strange experience. And the game, I think, was not in itself wasn't super interesting because, honestly, yeah, my opponent just played some very weird moves that I basically refuted easily, and then I blundered the piece. It was just a very weird game. So let's have a look at this game here against Marco Rico. I need to get my knight out. Aronian asks if my e4 series is easier to learn than the c4 series. Depends. The e4 series is different in some ways. First of all, one important difference is that it has less of transpositions. The c4 series, just by nature, is full of transpositions. There are ways to get to a certain position in 4 or 5 times, 4 times different ways, or you have to, when you play c4 and he goes knight f6 and you play g3, this has far-reaching consequences in some cases where you simply have to take into account, okay, if I do that now, yeah, I have to really look for this and that kind of scenario. And with e4, it is a bit easier in some way because there are not that many transpositions. If you start with a French defense, it's not all of a sudden going to transpose into e4, e5. That doesn't happen. Or a Caruana doesn't all of a sudden transpose into a Sicilian. So in some ways, it is more straightforward. One difference is it's a little bit easier. It's a little bit easier to learn, maybe, because in Chessable we have the variations and we have we have alternative lines and informational lines. And the E4 repertoire does not have alternative lines or informational lines. If you have used Chessable before, you will know what I'm talking about. I have simply not offered alternative lines by using actual lines in Chessable, but I've just mentioned them in the text. That makes the actual learning easier. Yeah. So there are some differences that that you will certainly experience. I'm not sure if that makes it easier to learn. It really depends a little bit also on maybe what you know beforehand and what you really completely learn as a new line. I have Bishop B5 lines against the Sicilian, yes. There was a question, what is a typical club player? That is not in terms of strength. This is not so easy to say. I usually would say something around 1600, 1700. You play in a chess club, you are a little bit ambitious to play, yeah? I mean, otherwise you wouldn't get such a repertoire, or any other book, yeah? Something like that. Okay, how do I win this position? This is a good question. Yeah, not easy. I don't know how to win. Maybe I can't. I try to regroup the knight. Knight to c5 is my idea, and then maybe queen e6. Okay, that is a little bit of a weakness. Okay. Queen to f2. Not sure that I can win this position. Okay, now my knight is approaching. Okay. Is that... this is increment. And I'm so hectic. I'm sorry. I was really thinking this is a 3-0. Okay, then I would have approached that differently. I was so hectic. Okay. Let's make a draw. No, that wasn't good. I didn't see that it was increment. I was really thinking, okay, I'm losing on time. I have to play super quick moves, and it really wasn't the case. There's one thing that I definitely wanted to mention to you, and this is something that is coming up shortly, a tournament on Lichess. Is that actually already in there somehow? It's going to be on Wednesday. Do you already see that here? I don't know. Nope. Here it is. Here we have a tournament, a 1e4 thematic tournament. This tournament is going to be played on Wednesday evening, Wednesday at 11 p.m. Central European time, so pretty late German time. And this is a really nice one. We are going to play only 1e4. It's a little bit of a celebration tournament of the new Chessable release. And we will even have some prizes sponsored by Fishy Wishy. He likes my stream, so he was very generous to donate some money to give out as prizes. So we're going to play this tournament. I'm going to stream that tournament, doing commentary. It will be Blitz, and I will make commentary on the top level games, and makes it a bit more relaxed for me, and I don't have to play myself. So I know it's a bit late, but Fishy Wishy himself wanted it to be late, so I felt I should accomplish that. I should accept that, yeah. Okay, so make sure to watch that. I'm going to put that out, of course, again on my channel on that day. Okay, I'm going to play Pat 6578. So Pat, give it a go. I'm going to play the French defense. That I recently briefly checked. It's not a bad opening. The Fort Knox variation again in the French. One of the better lines. Yeah, this is roughly equal already. Yeah? I've traded 2 sets of minor pieces, and I've gotten rid of my light squared bishop. If you ever played the Scandinavian, you might have had similar positions. Yeah, that's true. That's a very easy to play variation for black. It's not the most exciting line ever, yeah, that Fort Knox variation, but it is definitely something you can try. Yeah, Golonian, you're right. It's really the case. Yeah, the US is totally different in terms of club chess. One thing that you really have to check there, you have lots of areas that are non-urban, really, like out in the countryside, and they simply don't have any chess infrastructure. They have no clubs or nothing, and sometimes not even some good players. That they have nothing. I've checked. I would be #1 in many US states actually with my rating. And this is also why I'm sometimes approached by some US players for training, yeah? because they don't have anybody in their own vicinity that they could ask. An overview or teaser of my recommended lines. Yes, but my YouTube channel will have lots of teaser videos. Yeah, so currently there is a video out, a 10-minute video on the e4, e5 sidelines, and if you follow the link given in the video, you would actually get to the full video. So you can already watch 1 hour 25 minutes roughly of the very first chapter. So we have the Chessable, the moves, yeah, and you can get a full video for the first chapter. Yeah, Pat is now trying to find how the videos are a really nice add-on, and they are very nicely integrated into the Chessable platform. I think you don't necessarily need the video, but it is helpful in some way because you have the added possibilities given with the video. For example, you can easily watch the video completely independent of the Chessable site. Let's say, I mean, you have to watch it on the site, you don't download it. But it is still very nice because you might want to just do something not interactive. Just get some info on the lines and do that maybe while sitting on the couch or something. Okay, while we're explaining all that, I have established control over d5. This is nice to have. I'm also attacking his bishop, so I've created pretty nice pawn structure. Here I'm quite happy. Let's attack. I don't know about the plans for the plans for apps by Chessable. I really don't know. I'm not. I'm mostly involved with the content creation, and I've been involved, of course, with the ins and outs of the video platform. That, like, I was involved in building it in a way that I liked it. Let's say, and I was testing it and so on. But I don't really know what the priority is with. Potentially with an app. I don't know. Okay, I definitely don't want to blunder my a-pawn, but it is supported currently by this long-range bishop. That's very nice. Maybe I can get the d4 pawn. I did recommend the exchange French. I absolutely do. Yeah, c5 was hanging. Yeah, thanks for the game, Pat. Okay, who else is on? Nirvan, Raymond. So Nirvan, good luck. Yes, let's try that again. I really haven't tested Chessable much on anything else than a normal browser, let's say. Fuchsia, you're funny. The exchange French is so exciting, she says. I actually don't think it is super exciting, but I think it's a really underestimated practical weapon. It has some real pluses. A theme tournament on the French exchange. I would probably score quite well there. I really know stuff now about it. What is he doing here? Queen on e5. Yeah, that's true. Kasparov played the French exchange. I do recommend to play with c4 against bishop d6, yes. Against that it is really a good line. c4 in other situations is not a good line. Okay. You know, your huge advantage if you play a line like the French exchange with white is that black players will be reacting in various ways, and all of them are likely to be good for white. They might think you're playing for a draw. Oh my god, this is boring. Why is he playing this stuff? Whatever, yeah. And this is a good thing, because they might think they have an easy draw now at hand, or they might think nothing will ever happen. But it doesn't. It's just not the case. There are things happening. It's just that they're a little bit too subtle for some people to understand. And if you really look at this a little bit, you can set problems. You can set problems. I mean, I've played it now once in tournament chess, and I very easily beat an FM with it. I mean, very easily. It is a spoiled sport option. People hate to play against it. And also, you know, I have some experience with teaching people chess, and it is very common. It is very common that that people who play 1e4 actually struggle with the French defense. And the reason is that in the French defense, black wants a closed game. And some people playing white, who usually want an open position, they are actually absolutely not really, they don't play those variations well, simply. They play the French sometimes not well. I have this problem with many of my chess students, that they tell me, I don't have a good line against the French. And I was looking at many things, I can tell you. I've looked at the Tarrasch and whatever, and I felt that in most cases you're just playing into black's hands, because they get their typical closed position where they can move their pieces around and shuffle and whatnot. And why give them their structure so easily? I thought it is a very practical way to play. Rook to b5. What is this going to do? Funny move. Okay, let me take this. Oh, I didn't see that one coming, but I have a2. It looks like his pieces are a little bit overworked here. Rook a2, I can take on b6. That's going to be difficult. How does he cover the rook? I should win here, I think. Okay, yeah, thanks for the game, Near Van Raymond. Okay, so let's go Spy 77. What is the spy up to? By the way, one thing I wanted to mention, because we are discussing this repertoire. Chessable has a very nice, I think, refund policy. Whatever you buy, you can get your money back in a certain period of time. I'm not sure how much it is, 2 weeks, 1 week, I don't know. I don't know how much it is, but you can get full refunds on everything that you buy. Every single dollar you get back, or euro or whatever, if you don't like the product. So if you feel you're uncertain or anything, yeah, just give it a go, and you can easily get it back if you dislike the product. So this is, I think, an important thing. I think the learning platform combined with the video, and also the non-video platform, if you want to, if you don't think you need the video, is great. But it's still something that, if you don't know it, is a little bit, it is different to what you are used to in traditional books. So you can test it, and if you like it, you can keep and use it, or you can get a full refund if you don't like it. I really believe that you can learn the things there very nicely, in a very nice way. In fact, what I did is, I mean, I have written the whole thing, but some of the lines I have written half a year ago, and I have looked at it again and updated and so on, but it's not like I can just easily reproduce, if you just show me a position, every single move, every single thing. But I'm, of course, for the videos, I had to go through all the lines and present them. So what I actually did to learn everything and to be a better presenter of the whole stuff, I learned the whole repertoire again on Chessable, move by move. I've been going through all the 700 variations, and now I know the stuff. I mean, I really do. Speaking of stuff, I need d6 here. Yeah, I played lots of e4 over the board recently. I'm mixing it. It depends a little bit on the opponent. I played e4 50-50, let's say, with other moves recently. In some cases, I cannot resist, yeah, to play c4 or knight f3, yeah, if they give me like a King's Indian to play against or so, I'm going to go with d4 openings. But in some cases, e4 is tempting. It depends a lot on what I expect the other guy to play. That is an awkward pin on the knight. That's odd. It isn't that great. Not that good as I thought, yeah. Okay, thanks for the game, Spy77. That's a bit of an early resignation, but okay, let's go with Jesse. And I'm going to go for one or two more games. Oh, no, I'm not sponsored by Lichess. Lichess doesn't do sponsorship. I mean, if you want, it is sponsored because a while ago, some month ago, I think Lichess contacted a couple of regulars who use the site a lot, and they sent me this as a gift. So I'm not sure what it is in the store. I think maybe $20 to $30 or so. It's nice. It's a nice quality item, but it's I wouldn't call it sponsorship. They don't really pay out money or anything like that. Okay, against Jesse here, I'm trying to play for a quick kingside action. Let's see what I'm doing here. Whenever I say action, I really would like to be able to pronounce it like Arnold Schwarzenegger does. Yeah, this is he has this weird Austrian way of pronouncing it. I think it's brilliant. Yeah, but I cannot copy it. Yeah, I would really love to do it, but I cannot do it. Like action, it's impossible to do. Action Fuim, yeah, something like that. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm hoping that Jesse at some point plays e4. This h4 pawn is so annoying, and I would love to get a free view on that bishop. Oh, that's interesting. Aha, okay, you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. I did not know that. Action Fuim. Yes, it's close to it. Yeah, sure. I mean, there will definitely be more repertoires coming. I love to do those, and I think really the format is great. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. It's quite likely actually that before I decide on a new project, I'm going to, there will be some sort of poll on, I'm not pronouncing it right, I know. Okay. No, you can. They have a money back policy also for the products. I'm totally sure. Galodion, thanks for looking it up. But I mean, I really know because the boss of Chessable told me that you can return the books if you don't like them. All of a sudden, my bishop is getting great. Before a new repertoire is going to be started, however, the Keep It Simple E4 repertoire is going to be released as a paper book. This is an additional thing that's going to happen. I have today signed the contract with New and Chess to make a paper book out of it. So this will be released later this year. And once this is finished, it's not that much additional work actually, because it is the repertoire as it is released now on Chessable is basically a book. It just needs a little bit of polishing, let's say, to make it a paper book. Yeah, you need stuff like a table of contents, for example, or you need an intro text and something. Yes, the text is readable. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not really that involved with the refund policy. I just know that, David, the boss of Chessable, told me that it's returnable. But if that is not so clearly stated, they should probably be clearer there. I think it makes a lot of sense to have this kind of policy. Even if you're confident about the product. I mean, I think it's a good customer service. Okay, so we have to see that this has increments, so I'm not just going to win on time. Fuchsia wants an ebook on pawn structures. Well, what is wrong with Flores Rios' book on structures? I mean, I don't know, that this is not maybe what you would file under ebook, but this is probably what you want in terms of content. Chess Structures by Flores Rios. Yeah, and now after the queen trade, almost unavoidable, Jesse resigns. Okay, I think one more game and then I'm calling it a day. High Wind Fantasies, let's go with that. Okay, I was really faring well there. Oh, now some really obscure stuff is played. That is a Reti line, right? B3 is a Reti. And now they trade. Okay. Yeah, thanks for the game, Jesse. Yeah, here I'm going to play castle c6 and so on. One issue for white is a little bit, how are you going to place your pawns here, the d and c pawn? If you play d4, you're killing this bishop. If you play d3, okay, now he's killed the bishop on b7, on b2, I'm sorry. You really? Okay. So why is that even possible? Isn't knight g4 good? Thomas Sawyer is hosting my stream. Oh, I'm not really. This hosting is not really something I know. But I guess it's a good thing to be hosted. It sounds very positive. If he castles now, I'm going to go queen to h4. What is he doing now? I'm threatening mate. Knight f3, doesn't work. And after h3, knight takes e5, I'm just winning this pawn. Yes. Oops. I think I'm just winning this pawn. I don't see why I shouldn't win the pawn. Yeah, he's got a little bit of development going for him. I'm not sure that he's lost, as suggested in the chat. It's a big center pawn, and it's not really enough compensation, but he's got his pieces out, so. Going to go knight d7, f8, and then trade on the e file. I've got lots of black games, yeah. Did they challenge me to black games? I don't know. I didn't really do anything to get this. Pin and win. Yeah, I'm going to win some material here, right? Yeah, I'm going to win some material. Yeah, thanks for the game, High Wind Fantasies. So, I'm going to close this stream now. It's been a really, really long day today. A very happy day, actually, due to the release of this long-awaited product, but it was still lots of work. I've done the candidates coverage in the first part of the stream. If you want to watch it again, this show, after it is closed, will be archived in the video section of the channel, so you can watch that there. Yeah, thanks a lot for taking part. Make sure to go watch my tournament here on Lichess on Wednesday. The hoodie you can get in the Lichess swag store, I think it is called. Yeah. Yeah, let's call it a day. Thanks a lot for all of you. Thanks a lot to all of you. Bye bye.